Now, helping people get connected to the coast and creating happier communities is the goal of the Solent Way Project. The scheme has just won a Countryside Award and is run by conservation volunteers who are improving the 60-mile stretch of walkway along the Hampshire coastline. And over the past few months, the group's members have been rolling up their sleeves in Tichfield Haven. Nicole Ris has the details.
It's still a muddy and narrow walk on some parts of the path alongside the Tichfield Haven National Nature Reserve. But people might see the trail clearing up by the end of the year, thanks to the helping hands of volunteers.
I know that the Tichfield Haven National Nature Reserve rangers have been working on the path behind us now, and they've been kind of improving the path for access for all really further along. And we've been working on a section just near the car park, which will hopefully aid people with limited mobility and enable them to kind of get out there a bit more, because the car park is perfectly suited for people, to park up and just enjoy the coast. And if we kind of fix this kind of missing link in this path, they should have up to over 2 miles of good path to enjoy, and they can get out there and see what's about.
Apart from the path itself, it's especially the kissing gates that need improving to guarantee access for everybody.
They're great for allowing people access to paths, but if they're not done quite right, then they can actually inhibit access to people with limited mobility, from people in wheelchairs to pushchairs. And so there's a couple that we'd quite like to expand the box.
The work on the path can be challenging.
Path work actually looks quite simple, but when you get into it, there's quite a lot to consider, and there's many different layers to the path really. So you start with a sub-base and work up, and in certain areas this is just simply raising the path. In others you have to think of drainage issues to make sure that you don't want to create a path that then just becomes waterlogged. And in one section of the path has been raised in the past far too high and needed lowering to avoid the same problems happening again maybe 6 years down the line. So we've done a lot of work with containment boards and trying to just raise the path and lower it in other places, and just try and make sure that we don't get inundated with water again. But having come back after a couple of weeks, just let it settle down, you can see that we need to add a bit more here, a bit more there. It's often quite good to just take a step back from a project like this and see how it beds in, especially with actually the bad weather. Lately has been pretty good for us. You can see how it's holding up, and for the most part, the path's holding up really well. It's quite positive. It's a very heavily used path, and that can kind of throw up some problems when we're using kind of big machinery, kind of loud machinery, and people are happy enough to be excluded from the path for a little time. But although we've kind of had a path closure notice and we've got that ongoing, we try not to close the path, because in between times when we're actually doing the work, there's no reason why people can't enjoy the path. And when people have actually walked along, they're really happy with the changes we've made, and there's been a lot of good things said, which is always nice. It's nice to hear that straight away. It's quite a quick turnaround from doing it and getting the positive feedback.
Nicole Ris, for that's Solent.